Donggue do je je zun ro shen je ma do de ja pong jang ba sur je long ba da bra je be ge sha je je be ja gu jiang za do jin jiang jin de lo na ro da ma pa ma la ju je gan bo ba pa mo zhe ba je wan de gong ba ga je lo ma nang je da jiong ye da nen de ne zi ra dam je do la ma la ba la ye ji so zong la zong yun den jam zeng a la wan den zhe dong jian zhe be ge le zo da ge lo ji zong zhe war zhen jie la do zo che lam dan zhe war zhen jie la do zo lan zhe wa zi war zhen jie la do zo zhe wa yi xi zhen jia war zhen jie la do zo Gangge Tenzin Revan Jon Gapa me ba je ma me ba ta me ba wa me ba ro me ba ta de do me Tenzin zhu ba ni je je den ba zu ba zang je ma nan je dan ba de la zhang za de zhen jian za ba la ma ji je ge zong do je zhen la da 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 ge ju la be de da ge den ba dang zhen je je dong jia jian bon zhe ba zhen je la de zo Lama dang gong bong jiang bai yang la jiang za lo gang ge lo zhi zhen ye zhen zhe nye da nam da ra zar wei jian ye dong gang ji jian zik si nye jia do ga le wan zai gang da zi ba zong ra ma re men da dong er nye ge jian ye jun zai ra zhi nan dong na da jie sab jian da sun yong ding lo so jia se te ba ke jiu cha jie dang jian ye jian zhe da lu men Jumbe yang lan de rabazana de Warabazana di zedin jijin jira wazar je dalu de mo mamba rabzar ne kadan din ji jong lo do bai lo zhi bo be na wa ze de zor Okay, dear Dharma brothers and sisters, first I would like to say thank you very much. You asked many questions. I deeply rejoice that you made questions, and the questions are also teaching of Dharma, because many people understand Dharma through questions and answers. Many people understand Dharma through questions, but they will understand Dharma through my answer or not. I'm not sure, because how is my answer? I'm not sure. But I try to my best. I tried to my best. Then I will read your questions for the sake of all listeners. Sometimes, if my answer does not clear, but you can ask other masters. Then they will make clear for your questions. So that's it. The question and answer is traditionally spiritual activities, because Shariputra and many Manjushri and Compassionate Buddha, they all asked questions to Buddha, and then Buddha answered to all the questions. So then Dharma is very clear. Okay. So first, I pick up these questions because they were first who asked me through this way, okay? The question says, what is the difference between non-duality and oneness? Okay. And my answer is, if you really understand non-duality, if you really understand non-duality well, and then there is no difference between non-duality and oneness. The difficulty can be in the language. So if you pay attention to the words defining non-duality, then these words can bring you close to the meaning of non-duality. But if you follow the words of oneness, these words can lead you to believing in one thing that is existing. In my experience, first you gain experience with the words of non-duality. It sounds like you should follow the words, but that is not what I mean. When you pay attention to oneness, then there is still a single object in your mind that you are perceiving. Perceiving. Let me see. Yeah. So this is the first questions answer to the first question. So I hope you get clear. You are clear. You are clear. So I mean there is no difference between non-duality and oneness. But the little different thing is when you follow the world of non-duality, that helps you to understand non-duality. But if you follow the words of oneness, still you have some, you have perception, one thing in your mind. So that is a little different, the way of coming on there. Otherwise, they are same. Then the second question says, what is the difference between non-duality and middle path or equanimity. Equanimity has different levels. For example, during practice, you equalize friends and enemies. This is a state of equanimity, but it is not non-duality. But if you can perceive equanimity as being beyond the four limits, so there's no difference between existence and non-existence, permanence and impermanence, arising and ceasing, dualism and non-dualism. Then equanimity and non-duality are not different. Equanimity and non-duality not different through this way. The middle path is also not different from non-duality if you understand the middle path as being beyond the four limits. For me, when in past, when I recited the opening prayers, sometimes we add great equanimity. It was helpful to me. So yeah, I think you also pay attention there. Okay. And then second question is, you explain the faults of agitation in meditation practice. Would you please explain some antidotes to overcome this? This is one Sangha's question. And another Sangha question says, please explain more about focus, sleep out. So I will answer together because this is the same question, right? Same question, but different Sanghas asked, so I answer together. As Telopa mentioned to Naropa, in the beginning, our mind is like a waterfall with a lot of noise and spray that goes everywhere. So first we meditate, we have a lot of agitation. And as Saraha says, keep practicing continuously until you can rest in the nature of mind. But the key point is to stay in the middle way, not too tight and not too loose. So tightness can cause more clarity, and that can make you more agitated sometimes. So staying in balance is very important. Getting loose, it doesn't help your mind. Calm is agitation. So I mean, stay in balance. That's important. Not too tight, not so tightness, and not so loose. So here saying, body like a tree, keep inside. Mind like a monkey, runs away outside. So here are 3 more methods. 3 more methods. First, when you notice your mind becoming agitated, balance your focus. Then step by step, clearly focus on the object of meditation. The second method is if you are meditating on mindfulness of feeling. I don't know what kind of your object, what kind of your practice of this, but if you are meditate on mindfulness of feeling, you should focus on equanimity. You should focus on equanimity instead of suffering and happiness. Equanimity. The feeling of equanimity keeps your mind in balance. If you focus on the feeling of suffering, and then you easily, what is called that? Easily you can explain, or easily you can describe on there. And also the same like feeling of happiness. So I think you focus on the feeling of equanimity, it will help you. If your object is your body, when you meditate on the mindfulness of body, then you focus on the lower part of your body, especially the area below your navel. It helps you. If your object is mind, then you should focus on emptiness part. If you don't have experience with emptiness, then you focus on the stability of your mind, not on clarity, but not on the, also not on the movement of the waves of thoughts. Sometimes we meditate with thoughts, right? But at that moment, because your mind is agitated, so at that moment you more focus on the stability of your mind. Is clear? If you are doing meditation of mindfulness of phenomena, then for a little while, focus on appearance. This means in your mind appears any kind of thing, and then you just focus focus on appearance. You don't analyze. You don't explain. Okay. Yeah. If you are meditating on an image of Buddha or a Yidam deity, then focus more on the lower part of the image. This big difference. The lower part, you focus the Yidam deity's head and other part of decorations. This is when your mind is almost like your mind unclear. At that moment, you focus more the upper these decorations and so on. But your mind is agitated. At that moment, you focus the lower part of the Yidam deity's image or statue or so on. Also, you can change the color of the image. Dark blue color is preferred. Also, sometimes small objects helps reduce your agitation. Small objects. If you meditation on sound, then lower and smooth sounds are better. Lower and smooth sounds are better. If you tried this method and still you cannot pacify, then you should supplicate your guru. It definitely will help you. Also, externally, you can do things to support calming your agitation, like wearing thick clothes, eating heavy meal, and keeping doors and windows closed. If none of these methods help you, then the last method is to stop your meditation. Sometimes it is possible that source of your agitation is a wind disease. In that case, you need to take medicine. In Tibet, Tibet has the medicine of wind disease, and I think everywhere have. But until now, any doctors did not tell me I have wind disease, so I don't have experience about that. Actually, I did not check that much. So anyway, you need to take medicine to calm your wind. Any kind of medicine you get, any kind of means the medicine of wind disease, right? The prevention of wind disease is to reduce desire and attachment. This for sure in medicine instruction, Yuto Yongting Gumbo, his medicine instructions and transit path, they all, the wind disease, they all say same thing. Wind disease is related on desire and attachment. So I think I hope you maybe your problems are one of them. Make sense? One of them. Yeah. Okay. Then there's the questions. There are two more questions. Yeah, first, do the merit that we offer reduce the severity of other beings' negative karma? I think, yeah. Do the merit, actually it's a merits, but it's merit, right? Merit. Do the merit that we offer reduce the severity of other beings' negative karma? So my answer is, actually you are right. Because Buddha said that you are your own best protector. Besides yourself, who will protect you? So, but don't misunderstand this. It means whether you have bad karma or not, it is in your own hands. You are your own protectment. That it does not mean nobody can help you. Okay, it means before you accumulate bad karma, then it is in your hands. You make bad karma or you make good karma, it's you have freedom. Perhaps we think, oh, we do not have freedom because somebody influence or something, but it's more related on the motivation, you know. So yeah. So now I will explain how prayer helps. For example, you are not light, but you can turn on the lights. And then many people can see in the darkness. Similarly, even though you cannot take away others' bad karma, the power of your prayer can create merit for them. And if they have enough merit, then their bad karma will be exhausted, or their bad karma will not arise, right? I think that's. Okay. Then this second question. How can we offer the dedication prayers such as that of Shantideva with a full heart free of doubt? When we remember that every being must receive the result of his own karmas. Okay. Remember that the bad karma is non-virtuous, non-virtue. Bad karma is non-virtue. And one quality of non-virtue is that it can be purified through practice. For example, if somebody makes another person angry, then that person says sorry, then at that moment, the other person can let go of their anger, right? And when people contract epidemic disease, it is their karma to be sick. But it is possible that it is the disease's karma to be pacified by Shantideva's prayer. Make sense? This when people contract epidemic disease, it is their karma to be sick. But it is possible that it is the disease karma to be pacified by Shantideva's prayer. I think if I add something here, I gave you an example, actually same example. But if there is some disease, then people get that disease. That is those people's karma. Maybe that people's karma. But right after somebody help to that person, and then they recite Shantideva's prayer and other prayers. Then through this prayer, reduce or remove this disease. That is the karma of that disease. Now clear, right? I mean, one karma can fix another karma. For example, someone has a headache from drink alcohol. Then they sip. They sip little more alcohol, then the headache goes away sometimes. Tibetan says, Changsel. That means somebody drink a lot of chang. For example, this afternoon they drink a lot of chang. And then tomorrow morning they were headache. And then they sip little more chang. Then their headache, they recovered from their headache. So similarly, karma fixed karma. Make sense? So the prayers, in order to prayer has incredibly power. So perhaps I share you a story how power of prayer. So actually this story comes from a time when Buddha was with a number of his disciples, including Shariputra. Among Buddha's disciples, Shariputra was known for his his intelligence. Some of other disciples asked the Buddha why this was so. The Buddha replied that a long time ago there was a Brahmin who got married and had two children, a boy and a girl. As the children were growing, the Brahmin left his family for another woman. When the boy and the girl were growing, they went to a secluded place where they practiced their religious tradition. They ate what was in the forest. Then the girl began to develop more afflictions. And she asked her brother to go to the village to get some food. Her brother agreed to go, and then they came to the village, and were begging for food. A man, one person saw the girl and asked her brother, "Is this your wife?" And then her brother replied, "No, she is my sister." The man asked, "Is she married?" And boy replied, "No. We are practitioners in the solitary place. Then the man gave them some food, and they were ready to go back. But the sister told her brother that she could not stay in the forest, practice like him, and she would prefer to remain with the man. Her brother agreed for her to stay with the man. Then his sister asked him to stay with them in the village. But her brother said he wanted to go back to the solitary place for practice. She told him, as he was leaving, "If you develop any powers from your practice, please tell me," she told to her brother. Then he went back to the forest. He said yes, and then he went back to the forest. He continued his practice, and developed some powers that were miraculous power. Miraculous power. Like a floating in space. Did you heard before that story? Many Zhangsongs did that. In Saranada, Zhangsong were not sometimes Saranada, the name of place. That means when Buddha become enlightened, then some Zhangsongs, they already stay on the like a floating in the space. Then Buddha enlightened, then they fall down in the forest. It means like that because of power. if we turn on the light outside, in the night, it's really, the light is the light. But in the sun come, then what happened? Almost like a disappear, right? So then he remembered his sister's request. He's a good person, right? Then he went to visit her in the village. When he arrived, his sister asked her husband, would it be possible to give her brother some offering? Her husband said, yes, of course, he is practitioner. Her husband is also agreed that. Then she offered her brother some food and needle and thread. Needle and throat. Waves itself into a net, N-E-T, net. We waves with our hands, but it's itself waves. Then his sister was joyfully surprised and bowed down her head to her brother's feet because she saw that miraculous power. Then, of course, she immediately bowed down her head to her brother's feet and prayed deeply. Then she prayed like that. She prayed. May my intelligence become as sharp as this needle. And then there's more than I did not share you everything. Then the Buddha said, the Charuputara is the reincarnation of that girl, and his sharp intelligence is the result of that prayer. So now you not doubt about the Shantideva's prayer. So when you pray Shantideva's prayer of these 4 sentences, you recite or pray with bodhicitta. This is so important. Okay. So the prayers, you don't think every result will happen next life. You don't think some results happen right after you prayed. Then another question. The 10th thing not to be abandoned says, what is accomplished through sadhana is the physical contact, not dharma. Why is what is accomplished through sadhana called physical? Well, yeah. There are many sadhanas where we practice. First, I will make clear for you what is physical practice and what is practice through speech. Yeah, actually, this question coming through the Gampopa's text recently. We are teaching on there, but they sometimes they little bit the sentences makes little difficult for you, I think. But so physical practice means prostration, circumambulation, meditation posture, mudra of your hands, and you help others physically, and so on. practice through speech is reciting mantras and sadhanas, especially in Kriya Tantra. If you don't have idea what is the Kriya Tantra, Action Tantra. In Action Tantra has a lot to do with cleanliness of body and speech. But the Anutantra in English called that sublime tantra or supreme tantra. There are four different the tantras or tantra or something. So in order to Anutantra is not that concerned with the cleanliness of body and speech. In Mahamudra instruction, in some case, it says not to engage body and speech. So, some practitioners never focus on Kriya Tantra, Action Tantra. Here, Gampopa says we should not abandon practice of body and speech because we need to accumulate merit to achieve Anutantra or to achieve Mahamudra view, because we need merit. Your confusion is physical sadhana, right? That is a little difficult. It directly says that, but it does not say physical sadhana. It does not say, I have another book of this. It does not say physical sadhana. Physical and then the sadhana of speech, kind of that. So in order to, you should practice through the physical, you can practice through the physical as I mentioned it, okay? Then other question says, does the tantric practice of Gana Chakra count as festive practices which counteract merit? This depends on how you practice from your mind. If you think it is just a regular party and you eat and enjoy, but as soul offering text says, whether the food is delicious or not, that means the food of soul, delicious or not, you transform it into the gathering of 100 sublime tests and visualize yourself Yidam deity. Yourself Yidam deity, when you take Tso, you offer the Tso to the other deities as you, then your merit will increase instead of being counteract your merit. Clear? Okay. Oh. Then these other questions. Exhortations, body and mind. If one, the body is at ease, then the other, the mind, can ease. Body and mind if calm, then this means if body relax or calm, then mind also calm down or something, right? This question says that. I don't know. I think this actually the body and mind are interdependent. Body and mind interdependent. So when we meditate, also we say that if you keep straight your body, and then your channels will be straight. If your channels will be straight, then your wind goes through straight of channels, and then your mind also becomes straight. Straight, right? So if the body is at ease or relaxed or calm down, then it helps the mind to also be relaxed. But I should let you know that the mind is a principle. Mind is principle. For example, when your mind is happy, then small physical problems won't grow into a bigger one. So we all have this experience. If our mind is happy, then physically on the body has little some. If there are serious problems, then of course, but little problems, that we figure out through this way. If how to say, my headache, and then I see something, some like a kind of positive, the suppressing things, and suddenly I focus there, then I lost my headache, feeling of my headache. Kind of this way, and sometimes we are nervous, something. We nervous inside, then the body, what happened with the body? Shake, right? Shake. So that means mind is principle. This question is very good. So we have to know mind and the body, they are interdependent. And also mind is the principle of the body. My tongue is my part of body. My lips are part of my body. But then my mind start to say something. That's where my mouth, my lips, and my tongue start to work. If my mind don't like to do anything, my lip and tongue always with my head. But that's not. They do not work. So we notice through this way. So mind is how important. Buddha is how smart, actually, really. Buddha say, not always the body, and body is not so important. Not so important means if we compare with right? Compare with the mind. The mind is principle. So in the worldly, we all think body is important. We think means we don't make some ideologies. We don't make particularly something to say, but we think in order to. So we take care a lot with the body. Then we give a lot of freedom to mind. That's why mind makes lots of problems, right? Then we understood through this way. Sometimes when we have mental tension, and we lie down on a soft bed, But our mind is, in that moment, our body may be comfortable on a soft bed, but our mind is sorry, uncomfortable on a bed of tension. Bed of tension. Bed, the lie down bed. But I don't know how soft your bed is. I don't know. And also I don't know how uncomfortable your tension. That only you know, your wisdom know. But the own self's experience is like that. So we always have to pay attention on the mind, take care with mind. That is very important. And also, yeah, I think that's well enough. Oh, the question. Declarations. Is there a relative and an ultimate view of emptiness? Do you understand these questions? Is there a relative and an ultimate view of emptiness? Relative view of emptiness and ultimate view of emptiness. Emptiness, right? Yes. We say yes. The relative view of emptiness, that mental process. Actually, I taught that the day before yesterday. Day before yesterday. I taught. At that time, I tried to clearly explain on there, but finally, one bird helps me to make sense. Helped me. Do you understand? Do you remember? I explained on there more and more. Finally, I just watched through the window here, and the one bird just sit on that tree, and then he started to fly. The first day, they do like this. This is mental process, or this is how to say view of relative view of emptiness. That means you used to focus on emptiness and you process something with your mind. And then after this bird just flew there with just how to say nothing to no effort. Yeah, this is the like ultimate. So okay. The relative view of emptiness, relative view of emptiness is pretty easy to understand. Then the ultimate view of emptiness is the one that is inherently beyond existence, non-existence. It never has increased or decreased. Whether it is in the mind of Buddha or a sentient being in hell, it does not matter. It has the same quality. Naturally, it is clear, empty, bliss, and unchangeable. This is the ultimate view of emptiness. Right now, we are effort to understand that. Somebody very close on there, that's where they are special. In the Madhyamaka text says, there are many bodhisattvas, the 10 bhumis. How they different? It says, they take example the birds actually. the Garuda is who can fly highest. Actually, there are different levels, or different levels. There are different winds. Sun wind is very sharp, like a weapon, knife. But this Garuda, cannot. This wind cannot destroy to the Garuda. So they say like that. Then this maintains their mind, power of mind. I mean, this Bodhisattva's mind. They make it different through this way. First Bhumi is Bodhisattva, or 7 Bhumi is Bodhisattva. What is different? Like that. These our birds, they can fly this area more better than us, but if they go up that are higher, then they have difficult. They are how to say, it's difficult to fly. So yeah. So in order to ultimate view of emptiness, we called it Rigpa Kund Zambo. Rigpa Kund Zambo. This is ultimate view of emptiness. Okay. Then are there? This is another question. Okay. Yeah. Are there any stories? Parables. Okay, thank you. Parables. First time to learn. Pointing out instructions on emptiness. This is the main question is that this, right? Are there any stories pointing out instructions on emptiness? Yes, there are stories. Maybe there is a story. Yes, there is a story, but first I will say that. Nagarjuna said, if you misperceive emptiness, then you will lose small wisdom. Why you misperceive emptiness? Because your wisdom is very small. And then you may misperceive on emptiness, then you lose that wisdom. I think that is Nagarjuna. I don't have confidence 100% Nagarjuna or Asanga or Dharmakirti or some of them. Some of them. Sometimes, so, which means if you mistake emptiness for nothingness. Oh, emptiness means nothingness. Nothing. If you do like that, then then what happened? You will lose your belief in karma. It is dangerous, right? Oh, emptiness means nothingness. Then there's no karma. This is misperceive. If you understand emptiness well, through your faith in karma growth. Faith. No, I cannot translate it well, otherwise Lonjitin Sungon Sugon in his Gonjik text, single attention text says, in that text says, when you recognize the emptiness well, you notice subtle of karmas. I think I did well. Oh, I did well. You guys did not tell me you did well, so I said just right. I be instead of you. I say, oh, you did well. Thank you. I just kidding. Okay. So you should get pointing out on emptiness through interdependence. Now I lead you different ways, okay? If you are philosophical, then you should establish emptiness through 5 great logics. 5 great logics. Actually, these logics are to establish the two graspings, grasping of individual, grasping at phenomena. But the emptiness is the same. They established through the 5 great logics. So here I just recommend I just make imprint in your mind about the logics, but I won't explain more on there. The first is the reasoning of the absence of singularity and plurality. Plurality. This is the first logic. The name is smart, is it? So this analyze or examining the nature of things. Natural things. Natural things means it does not mean fires. Nature of a fire is heat or hot. Nature of water is liquid. Nature of space is just let go and coming everything. It does not mean like that. It's established. This start to explain or examine on emptiness. So this nature of a fire is hot. This is very simple. Everybody knows. Whether you are not if you do not use logic, still you know. But this is higher examination. Second is the analyzing the cause. This in the Paramita we says form is emptiness. Emptiness is form, and then slowly say how to say no ceasing, no rebirth, cessation, rebirth. They say no, right? So this part similar, but no means it does not mean nothingness. So we all know. Then third is the reason for the production and cessation of existence and non-existence. Just these names, I recommend the names. I won't explain on that. It is so precious. Just kidding. This perhaps you understand through these words. Main thing is right now I recommend, and then you should open the books. We have many libraries. Right now the world, Mother Earth the universe is in over with fingers. So open your, you start to use your fingers and then look these books really. You don't think, oh, these are philosophy books. There are two misunderstandings. Someone says, oh, it's philosophy books. I don't care. I am very special, Mahasiddhi or something, yogi or something. That is misunderstand. One thing. Another misunderstanding is, oh, I can't do because I didn't get the opportunity when I was something. There are lots of excuses. So don't do that, really. Books always ready to. Your mind and Buddha mind has no different. I already mentioned it. That I can say confidently because Buddha said that, because Gurus said that. So this is natural in order to. So okay. I don't know, I explain or scold you. I explain you or I scold you. I don't know. Then fourth is the four-cornered refutation of origination. This is a logic system also. Then fifth is the reasoning great interdependence. This is the highest logic. The Tibetan word is really smart. 탐치를 주바 띠ም들 치mer 봐. 탐치를 주바면서 examine into everything. 주를 주바 dorji sigma. Dorji, do you know? Vajra. Sigma means the sun radiate its ray, sun's ray, and then there's some part of a light. We cannot look directly. So these metaphors, these names are beautiful names. But this person is not scholar, so just simply offer you this thing, okay? And here I will share with you a story. I already say yes, right? This Sangha says, are there any stories? A story about pointing out of emptiness, but it leads you, that's what I think, it leads you indirectly to emptiness. That's what I think. But I don't know, you come indirectly on emptiness, or if you must have to come directly. Then maybe I say no. If you accept I lead you indirectly on emptiness, then I think this will help. There were some advanced practitioners who had about emptiness and whose head broke into hundreds of pieces. Have you heard it before? Did you? Yeah. But this is a metaphor. This is They heard emptiness, then if this, this is a metaphor. The meaning of which is they have too much grasping into existence with the five sense objects. Oh, flowers are truly exist, truly beautiful. This sound is real sound. Then the one good thing is they believe in karma. Another, they also believe Yadam deities truly exist. Or how to say, solidly. They are solid, like their perception is like that. That's where then start to say emptiness, then surprised or shocked. That means they cannot accept that view. The problem is they misunderstand emptiness. What emptiness means, nothingness. That's where it makes problems. So physically, whether make many pieces or the mentally happen, right? Okay. Then please, this purify one's mind. Please recommend a householder's beginner confession daily practice. Okay. Then let me read this. I also surmised that a householder's beginner bodhicitta daily practice is to meditate on bodhicitta, starting with 5 minutes each day. Rejoice. That's very good. But I answer on the first, I think this is a question, right? Please recommend, yeah. Question means that, yeah. In order to purify through your body, you can do prostration, circumambulation, offering water bowls, and a clean temple, and so on. To purify through your speech, you can recite mantra like the 100 syllable and 35 conventional Buddha and 14 root downfalls. Since tomorrow I will teach 35 confessional Buddha, I'm trying to go pretty detail on there because I think this is a very important practitioners understand. How to say? Important to understand your practitioners. So then there are many kind of practice through speech. You recite mantra, other mantras. So just these are examples I recommend for you. Okay. It says yes or not? Oh, thank you. Then through your mind, practice bodhicitta, compassion, and practice 4 powers, which I already taught in the 7th branch. Okay. Oh, yeah. This question is, what are the form and formless realms? What are the form and formless realms? In the form realms, there are 17 levels. Levels means 17 different beings. But I don't want to tell each and every of them, because these names are a little bit difficult to understand in English right now. So in the future, if I get very good names in English, of course, these names are already have very good translations in English. But right now in my room, these books and these dictionaries does not satisfy me. So you just imagine, there's 17 levels of form realms. But here, important thing to you should know: if in the form realms, their form is more clear than ours. Why? Because they have purified their desire realms, afflictive emotions. The form realms, their rebirth in the form realms, at that moment, they have still form. Their form is, they have the clear. Their form is more clear than us. So their forms are almost like light, almost like light. To gain rebirth in the form realm, the main cause is concentration or samadhi. They rebirth their form realms. Its main thing is samadhi, concentration. So there are four samadhis. 4 samadhis. The 4 samadhis are: first samadhi is a state with both concept and discernment. The second is second samadhi is a state without concept but just discernment. The third samadhi is a state without delight, right? Without delight. So this is delight. We thought D-E-L-I-G-H-T, delight. Delight. But with bliss. Okay, that's, I think, a little hard, but it's okay. Sorry. The fourth samadhi is a state of equanimity. State of equanimity. So this is about the form realms. So I think that's well enough. The form realms, if I tell this, do we offer mandala? Right? Mandala. This mandala has, actually in Abhidharma Kosha text says, the Abhidharma Kosha has 8 different chapters or sections, I don't know how to say, but more than sections, of course, different paragraph, or in order to each chapter or section has a lot of pages, then I don't know how to call that. But then some of them talks about our Mother Earth, and then form realms and formless realms, and so on. Anyhow, the mountain mirror, and then it has 4 different directions. Then each direction, and then this has different levels. Then each level has different life of form realms too, but that the life of being of form realms. So the place is including the how to say mountain mirror, but these beings are these form realms. It's different then. And then the formless. In the 4 formless realms, beings don't have form. They don't have form. But there are a little bit of debate. I don't know if you have interest in that or not. There are everybody debate on there. The case of a debate is somebody say, oh, they have a very tiny, small or training form. That's why we call them no form. Somebody says, oh, they don't have. Then why they have a debate? The reason is then the teachings, can they hear or something? There are some part, okay. So this, but they don't have form, because they have purified the afflictive emotions of form realms. Form realms. So they don't have form. Right now we can say they don't have form. There are 4 kinds of form realms, 4 realm beings. The first kind of being rests in the samadhi of infinite space, which means that these beings perceive all phenomena to be space, and space is infinite. Then they rest in that state for a very long time. In the Dharma words, that means they rest in that state, or on that samadhi, long time. The second kind of being rests in the samadhi of infinite consciousness. That means that they perceive space to be consciousness, and consciousness is infinite. First, they perceive, right? Perceive only space. All phenomena are to be, right? To be space. And then they just stay in space. We are also practice on we do not think they are their meditation samadhis are not good things. We do not think. Of course, we are not rich yet on that. I don't know some of you, of course, but most of us. So then they can rest that state for a very long time in consciousness. Consciousness is infinite, and then there's the rest there. The third kind of being rest in the samadhi of infinite nothingness. This means they perceive consciousness to be nothingness. Oh, no, I perceive the space is also consciousness. And then they developed this stage, and then they think, oh, the consciousness is also nothing. And then they rest there for a very long time. The fourth kind of being rest in samadhi of the peak of samsara. Peak of samsara, right? This means that they are at the very height of samsara, with hell being the lowest point of samsara. So we say peak of samsara is what? This, right? Among the four formulas, this is the highest one. And then the lowest is the hell being. We are between there. They are different. So many practitioners reach the peak of samsara, but eventually they fall back because they do not liberate completely the realization of emptiness, right? Realization of emptiness. So but of course we have to be practice on mindfulness, and we don't well, I don't know how to say that. Okay. Last question. Can you please give guidance for how to work with our natural sexual desires without falling into repression or delusion? I think it is not easy to trick myself into repression, and most of the time this desire is not conscious. Okay. This is actually, I bring some methods from text, okay, for you. I hope it will help you. I hope means, yeah, this is first is question. Yes. We all have a desire. That we have to know that because we were rebirthed in the desire realms, so we have a desire. That I understood. Then how to work in order to without falling in that. So this is if you are a practitioner of the for instance Jakasamvara, then you means you try to transform the desire, transform into the great bliss. Then you transform into great bliss, and then you try to transform into the emptiness. So then slowly you will reach the stage of the union of the emptiness and bliss. You will slowly get experience of that. So that means in the Vajrayantric path, how to conquer these afflictive emotions. And also, sometimes you just look at the nature of a desire. I think that is a good method, of course, but it's work well. It's work or not, it depends actually you're related with the practitioners, right? So anyhow, so you just watch the nature of this. Then, for instance, when anger arises, most of anger arises at that moment, overwhelming the gathering in the heart or area of chest. And then we look at the nature of this angry. Nature means we don't want to, where is the nature of angry? We don't want to think, just to watch or just to look at the anger. Then slowly what happened? This wind, how to say, scatter through your bodies. Then your anger has no power to grow. So to grow, that's where it helps you. Similarly, when your desire arises from your mind, you look at the desire. You don't focus on that person. For example, I am desire on this flower. If I look this flower and then I use many adjectives on there. Its color is nice, and a lot of I add many adjectives. I explain, and then that's support to my desire on this flower, Then it's difficult. So just look at the desire. You meditate on there. Actually, this is pretty higher practice, but desire is actually sometimes very good to transform into the to realize the bliss and emptiness. First, we have actually, I don't know right now. I say that how comfortable, but many people think before have this experience, before have this method, right? Bliss and emptiness, how to union. Before they don't have this knowledge, how to union. Then second, they did not try on there, and then just they think men and women have to marry, and only this way, then they hope they recognize the union of bliss and happiness. This is too early. This is too early. So that makes problems. If you have knowledge, you have experience how to, but anyway, so then in order to you watch the desire and meditate, Shantideva, as Shantideva says, if you keep going through this way, then you become familiar. You become familiar, then you get a great result. So that's one thing. In the Sutara path, especially individual vow, method of individual vow, you have to conquer those things. This is it's growing very small. Then you use the antidote. This desire is like a small oil on the pepper. This oil drops on the pepper. You immediately take off, clean. At that moment, you be mindful on there. You try to clean on there. Then it's possible you can make clean. But if you just let that stay on the, often drop on the pepper, then oil and pepper, especially the pepper towel, then very difficult because it's dissolved inside. And then the oil, very difficult. If you try to make clean this oil with pepper towel, I don't know, recently we have other things. If you try to wash with water, then you lost pepper towel too, before you clean the oil. So in order to smooth this 37 way of Bodhisattva text also say, small, this afflictive emotion grow, then you conquer. Okay? Then sometimes, because why I tell you this answers to you, you are just, I guess, you are very, interesting to purify the natural, these sexual desires, right? So I just tells you that. Then this is one method. Then another method is when you desire on the one person, particularly one person. If you are man, then you are desire on the woman. Then you change your focus. You think that woman is as your mom or your sister. You think like that, then it will help. If you only one woman or some, so your mother or your sisters, it will help you. And you have really difficult, then this is in the Sutara method, Vinayana method, I think that is. Then you establish on that person. If you desire on the women or you desire on the men, it's same. For example, if you are desire on my body, right now I give you an example. If you are desire on my body, then you establish my body. This head, inside of head is brain is like a, how to say, very bad, like a yogurt, right? And then if a little bit, right now this skin, in my skin, if you how to say, feel a little bit, some make a wound here, blood come. Yeah, you like my skin, but you don't like my blood. If I little bit cut here and I say you drink this blood, you can't. Right? So, and then inside of my organs, you examine my bone. So lots of negative things. just only this skin covered. So you more examine then why I do that. So I think some of these methods maybe helps you. Maybe, I mean, I don't know. Yeah. Then impermanence is also the meditation on impermanence is also helpful to reduce, I think. Okay. Then second question, can you please give advice to specifically for Western practitioners who aspire to become monks or nuns in a practice lineage? There is no monastic culture in the West, and the obstacles appear to be very high. I think right now you should go in India. There are many monasteries, and they welcome you to become monk and nuns. When I was in India, and I have some classmates who are foreigner, the Westerners. Their knowledge is wonderful, really. I have some classmates. Their Tibetan is excellent, and then they know very well how to study. Very well. So you should go. You be tolerant with food. You be tolerant with pujas. Early morning and night. You should be busy. You don't be. You reject your body in front of the sun. And then it depends. Different monastery. If you are participate. Okay, I think yeah. So. If you went to Tibet, then you, I think it's, I don't know right now, it's many years. I left Tibet many years. It's a big change, maybe, I don't know. Maybe you don't have a toilet. Perhaps, I mean, individually, you cannot shower often. Shower, right? But don't worry, the weather shower to your body. It means no smell and no problems. But some areas are really extremely cold. So you don't worry about clothes. Clothes you will get, and then you that's right now. I think it's the best thing is to go to India. Really, easy to go, easy to come, and so on. Then you start, and then some monasteries. Yeah. How should a Westerner in his or her adult life determine if taking monk vow is the correct path, assuming they have no family or dependents? How's it? Oh, no family or dependence. No family is no problem. You can be you will get everywhere your family. I think recently you participated in the monasteries. They give you food, and then you don't need many clothes, and you don't need many shoes. Then I think no family is maybe no problems. But of course, your family is oh, what did it say, please? I don't. Oh, thank you. Then, what is the right intention for taking monastic vows? This is you. You should understand. First, you should understand the practice renunciation of samsara and defect of samsara. This is the main thing. Are there monasteries that accepted Western lineages you can call? This I already say. I think in India, every monasteries will accept that. But before you go, you contact, okay? Otherwise, you just go there, act without thinking. I'm not sure. Okay. Yeah.
Which of the afflictive emotions, worry and sadness?
Which afflictive emotion? Are worry and sadness. Related to? Oh, it's a very good question. Which afflict?
And how do you transform that?
Related, these emotions are related with thoughts, right? But if you want to remove or purify worry and sadness, then you have to understand that there is a Shantadeva says that if you can fix something, you fixed it instead of worry and sadness. If that things you cannot fix it, then why you do worry and sadness? So that is the good method. Yeah. Oh.
He said, correct view to and how do you understand that?
Guru Rinpoche said, when you, sorry, I'm not clear. Repeat that again. When Guru Rinpoche said that, yeah.
That the correct view
Oh,
of
correct.
secret mantra
Correct view of secret mantra.
is that one has no attachment to
one?
Sadhana or a version to.
Oh, yes.
So how do you understand that?
Oh, Guru Rinpoche said that when you focus on the correct view and do not attachment in nirvana and do not aversion in samsara, right? How do we know during the practice the renunciation of samsara? Yeah, this is we have to separate. Separate means when we practice on the renunciation, that moment we have some facing problems about the situation of samsara. So that moment you do not bring that view there. So you should practice the renunciation of samsara. Renunciation of samsara, it does not mean you aversion on there. It means you establish the meaning of samsara. There's no any permanence, and there's no any the real good result and so on, right? That's where you try to liberate from the desire of samsara. So then you reach through this path, this practice you developed. Then you will start to practice the view of the higher view. And then you recognize the higher view, then you do not need particularly practice on the renunciation of samsara. It means you have no problem. But you recognize the higher view means only one time you recognize it, that's not enough. You should familiar. You should completely familiar on there. So this recently there says, I don't know how to use this in English. In order to, whenever you focus in samsara, samsara cannot lead your desire. When you focus towards samsara, you immediately you see, almost automatically you can see illusory. And then you are a little higher, emptiness. Then nirvana and samsara, always you can see same. So that's where first you come step by step. So you should practice the renunciation of samsara.
This person has a question about initiation. And he read a book that said Rupa not give the Tara empowerment.
Oh.
And so he wants to know, also says on the internet, that the Tara practice is Lopa, but in the lineage there's no Marpa. So he's know why this green tar.
Oh. Okay. This yes, that this question says, who read some text, it's the Marpa did not get empowerment from Naropa, and then this text says this Tara comes from Marpa. Then how it is, right? If this person talking, this Sangha talks on the transformation, so, transmission, then I think it's, you are right. Actually, I did not get in the Marpa's biography. I just, but I did not get, means I did not go deeply on, read deeply recently. So some part I forgot inside what are theirs. But perhaps you know the Marpa went to India to see Naropa many times. I think it's 12 or not 12, right? Anyway, he often went to India, and the last he went to India at that time. He arrived in Nepal. Then he met two sanghas of Naropa, and then they told to Marpa, Naropa already left, but this left has different explanations. Anyhow, then Marpa stay in Nepal pretty long with these sanghas, and they offering and teaching each others, make so offering practice together. So the transformation is it's traditionally we say that you can take transformation from the transmission from the shepherd. If a shepherd has transmission, you can take from them. So for that reasons, maybe Marpa take this transmission from some ordinary sanghas, and then they did not put it in the story. So it's maybe just what I think. And sometimes but this you're right. You are right. This is Marpa's. Kontro Yungtin Jamsu says the Marpa's system. He followed Marpa's system and he made it. So also Marpa has three particularly yidams, Vajrasattva and Ushinisha and Tara. So we do not worry because Marpa gets transmission from Naropa or not. That I already told you. But empowerment, Marpa got from the Naropa, I think. So maybe we do not worry about that because this is his main yidam. So then, okay? Okay. Okay. Questions? Thank you very much. It's wonderful questions. And exactly then our time is on. Time's over, right? And then this is my last question and answer for this teaching of Gampopa. Yeah, so still I have 1 more weeks to teach on Gampopa. So here you ask many wonderful questions, and I deeply, deeply rejoice. And then through my answer, if I made any kind of mistakes, so I really confess in front of Yadam deities and gurus and Dharma brothers, sisters, and then let us recite 100 syllable mantra 1 time. Okay? Om bezo zado zamaya manabalaya bazo zado dinoba diranda ro membawa sodu kayo membawa sobe jayo membawa Anorado mebawa sarwa zede member yonzo zawa gamma zuzame zedam hirayang goro hong ha 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 ho banga sarwa tatanga damba zama meme zamba zabawa ma zamaya zado vai Sumje nebai jinya banyurde nele dajer jen robe nenai male dadun joa me barjo May every being ailing with disease be freed at once from every malady. May all the sickness that afflicts the living be instantly and permanently healed. Oh, Pama Zunja Damja Dedan Ginger Jeng and Ro Damja Dodo Donwar Janju Zumbai Ganda Zaju Bodedai Gunja Mola and Barjo. Chanjo Zanjo Rambo Je Maji Banam Gijer Je Jibai Nyamba Mebai Gone Gondon Bewa Jo. May bodhicitta, the precious and supreme mind, arise in whom it has not yet arisen. Where it has arisen, may it not decline, but ever increase higher and higher. Thank you very much.